We made a fam law firm $51,000 in new cases in just 18 days from spending $1,874 in marketing, and today I will show you exactly how. But before I do, let me first show you some proof instead. As you can see right here is the message from our partner with the clients that they have signed for that particular time period, which is 8 clients for their law firm with a value of $51,000 in total. And if we go into the actual ads manager, this is on Facebook, as you can see, for the time period of August 13 to August 31st, which is the time period when these actual leads opted in. As you can see, we precisely spent $1,874.38. So that being said, then let's get into exactly how we did this and how you can use the exact same system in your law firm as well to pretty much go ahead and achieve some amazing results. So as you saw, the actual platform that we used for this was Facebook ads. And what you want to do in order to replicate this is to go ahead and find geographical locations within your area, within your specific counties where you can serve your clients in, where people make a decent amount of money in the household income. Because if you are going to be targeting individuals that don't really have too much money, then you can't expect them to be able to afford retainers, as an example, right? So if your retainer is $5,000, for example, then the bare minimum that we have noticed that somebody needs to make in the yearly household income is at least about $60,000 a year. So if your retainer is 5K, then make sure that the counties that you go after, or at least the locations within those counties, are filled with people who make at least $60,000 a year in the household income, okay? And that's exactly where you then want to run your ads in, okay? From there on out, what you want to do is you want to design an ad creative that you're actually going to use for the ads. Right here you can see the 2 ones that we have seen working really, really well for this partner and also for the other ones. So you can pause this video and pretty much go ahead and replicate them, copy paste the exact same design basically. And one of the things we've seen working incredibly well is in the ads itself, changing the messaging whether you are speaking to women or men, okay? So if you're going to be targeting women, then make sure that you are saying vibes, right? Or woman, as an example, right? If you're going to be targeting, males, then make sure that you tailor the messaging to men. So as you can see with this ad creator right here, we have a male, right? It seems frustrated. And then it says, think about you divorcing your wife, right? So make sure that you separate men and women, because we've seen that messaging working better for each particular ad campaign, okay? So from there on out, what you want to do is you want to use a lead form campaign objective within Facebook, which allows you to generate leads within the platform directly, where they can pretty much fill out a form that pops up on the platform. And the 2 main questions that you want to put in the lead form are these ones right here. One of them is, are you looking to hire within the next 30 to 60 days? This is going to provide you context on how quickly they're looking to hire somebody. And then the other question you want to ask them is, what is their household income? And then you want to have bullet points. Say one that is below 60K, one that is 60 to 80K, another one that's 80K to 100K, another one that's 100K plus. So you can adjust these depending on what is your retainer and what are the types of people that you want. But anybody who says below 60K, once again, as I said, if your retainer is at least $5,000, then they need to make at least 60 grand in the household income. If it's less than that, it's going to be quite hard for them to afford working with you. So if they say that they're below 60K, then automatically disqualify them, because there is an option within the Facebook lead forms to set up a conditional logic lead form, meaning that if they say that their household income is below 60,000, then it pretty much automatically ends the form. It does not allow them to go through. From there on out, what you want to do is you want to send people to an actual landing page. So you don't want to send people to your website. Instead, you want to send them to a landing page that is specifically tailored for actually booking in the appointment. So on that landing page, you just want to have some information about the law firm, some case studies, client testimonials, the benefits of what they're going to receive in the actual consultation. And then you want to obviously have the calendar itself embedded on a landing page where they can go ahead and fill out their information, and pretty much as well go ahead and answer any other questions within the application process, and then I click on schedule the call, and that's it. They basically have scheduled in a consultation with you, okay? From there on out, what you want to do, this is extremely important, you want to go ahead and have an appointment setter who calls every single lead within the first 5 minutes of them coming in, and their goal is going to be to pre-qualify them over the phone. And if they haven't booked an appointment yet, then the appointment setter goes ahead and books an appointment instead, okay? Now, it's very important to call them right away as they opt in, as I said, within the first 5 minutes, because if you do later than that, then what we've seen is that the actual pickup rate decreases by roughly about 76%. So it gets to a point where it's extremely difficult for you to get them back on the phone and actually convert them. Okay, so make sure you get in touch with them right away. And then from there on out, once the appointment is scheduled in, make sure that the appointment setter pretty much reaches out to them and reconfirms their show up to the appointment 24 hours before the call starts and 1 to 2 hours before the consultation starts as well. Okay, so this way you can ensure that they are going to show up to the appointment. So this is exactly the process that we used for this partner that's allowed him to generate $51,000 in new case value. And right here you can see a little bit more about the KPIs that you should be aiming for. So the cost per booked appointment should be anywhere between $100 to $300. Now this is gonna depend on what is the retainer as well, because if your retainers are way above 5K, for example, you're charging a $10,000 retainer, then your cost per booked appointment might actually be higher, right? But in general, long term, it is still profitable for you if your cost per booked appointment is higher, because if you close less clients, you still make a lot of money because your retainers are higher, right? From there on out, you want to ensure that your show-up rate is roughly about 70% and the closing rate is about 30%, okay? If it's less than this, then you know that you need to go ahead and restructure some things with the show-up operations and as well with the closing rate as an example, right? But these ones are the percentages that you should be aiming for. Cost per acquisition, anywhere between $500 to $1,000. Now, once again, if your average case value is worth a good amount of money, and if your average retainer is at least like 10K, for example, then obviously your acquisition cost is going to be higher than this. But if your retainer starts off at 5K, then these are the acquisition costs that you should be aiming for in a sense, okay? And so from there on out, if you look at it on the profitability standpoint, retainer return on ad spend, if your retainer is 5,000 and your acquisition cost is between 500 to $1,000, then your ROI on the ad spend itself on the retainer is anywhere between 5x to 10x. And if your average lifetime value of the client is about 10,000, so if your average case long term is worth about 10K, then the actual ROAS is anywhere between 10x to 20x on the lifetime value itself. Okay, these are some of the actual KPIs you should be aiming for. And once again, these ROAS and CPAs could actually change depending on, once again, what is your average case value and also what is your retainer. But these are the actual numbers you should be aiming for. So in theory, this is the entire system. And if you have any questions, then drop your comments down below and I'll go ahead and answer them as soon as I can. Else than that, I hope that you found this video valuable and I'll see you in the next one.